Hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Analytics Mindset. Today, we're going to be looking at the certificate on the AI Fluency Framework and Foundations. This is a very basic certification. I was expecting something very different from it, but ended up having quite a bit of overlap with both the Google Generative AI Leader and the Microsoft AI Fundamentals. I'm going to put the link over here if you want to, but I will not spend a lot of time on the overlap. I will only spend time on what is actually new at this regarding this series of videos. This is another one of Anthropic certifications that I've been doing recently, and as you can see, there is a lot of things here in this course, but a high-level overview is that you are able to see the basics of Gen AI. If you haven't started yet, this is a very good place. I would say Claude 101 is more about how to understand Claude, how to understand the beginning of it, how to understand what's going on with the model. This course is more about general AI fluency from Anthropic's perspective. And they will teach you mostly for effective, efficient, ethical, and safe AI interactions. And you will have a lot of things that you can go through. There is a ton of hands-on experience. You can decide to build a project if you want to. I did build that project personally, but again, it's up to you how much you want to get from the course. It's totally free. You just need to register with the Anthropic Academy. That's a very good upside there because you don't need to do anything else rather than just logging in here. But it is divided on AI fluency framework, and you will have what's generative AI. We won't cover that. And the main four Ds of AI fluency that are, in Anthropic's case, delegation, description, discernment, and diligence. We will go into that in a second. But first of all, the AI fluency itself. What is being AI fluent? This is it pretty much. You need to know how to talk to AI, how to set clear expectations on what AI can give you and what you get from AI, and to be able to collaborate with AI with human AI collaboration, not just in understanding AI as a technology. You will try to develop skills that will remain relevant as AI evolves. And finally, you want also practical skills and fundamental shift on how you think about working with AI. You're probably working with AI already. This will help you to actually reframe that and refine those skills. But let's start with the first one, delegation. What is delegation? It's when you decide what needs to go to the AI. There is places where you can actually get stuff into AI, or you should work it yourself. And there's obviously a lot of places there that makes sense. You need to be aware of your problem. A lot of it is also platform. Is meaning my platform correct for this? And you will need to analyze the task with an AI assistant. Now, as I said before, Anthropic focuses a lot on the actual practical side of skills. You can just follow along and go through these instructions to see what you can do in a multi-step project that think about it as multiple prompts, what you should be learning about delegation. On description. Description is a little bit different. You want to understand how to communicate your intentions with AI systems, and you need to actually be able to describe that to AI. AI doesn't know the context of your issue, so it will be trained in a humongous data set, but if you can be more clear with what you want, it will actually accelerate you a lot more. You want to define the product, what you actually want to get from, the process, how AI will get into that, and the performance, how you are actually going to evaluate that. And you have another more formal definition here. The product you provide with all the time. Let's say that you have a prompt and say, I have this sales data. I want to know how to get a pivot table on this. You say you want to know, depending on your AI, the AI may try to do it for you or not. You may just say, I want a pivot table, just do it in the same Excel file if it has access to your Excel files. Copilot, for example, and then the AI will do it. It really depends on what you want, or maybe you just want it as a format in a TXT or something else. It is good to know that to guide AI to say what you want to create and how you want to create it. That will be program process, and performance is how you want the AI to behave while you're collaborating with it. Out of communication, again, you need to be very clear with AI and very descriptive. You really can't assume AI will just know what you're trying to say. It is like a very, very big comparison that I found. It's like it's a very confident intern that sometimes will just do stuff for doing stuff or try to satisfy you, but it may end up going backwards and doing something that you don't want to. As an example, I had a project where I needed to modify an HTML file, and I asked AI to do a small change on, hey, I just need to change this from here to there on the text, and it still went ahead and did a lot of other stuff I did not ask it for. Why? Because they are able to be confident. You need to be very careful with that. There is a lot of things that may happen if you are not. As you can see here, it asks you in this exercise to actually communicate with AI and go to bad prompting. You are going to give some very bad prompts, and then you are going to try to improve them and see the conversation and the differences between them. And you will need to reflect what is the part that is bad about this prompt. Is it the product, the process, the performance? And finally, you will take the last look at discernment and delegation. But that is pretty much for here, for the description. On discernment, you have more prompting techniques. Discernment is all about how you understand how AI is working. You want to have the product discernment. How do you evaluate the quality of AI outputs? Then process discernment, how AI approach the task. And finally, performance discernment, how AI behave during the interaction itself. It is the opposite of description. Well, in description, you are feeding the AI model with all of this output, input, etc. task. Here, you are actually discerning. Is this what I wanted to? Is this what I need to produce? And is this how the AI should actually behave while handling it? Similar to that, there is another exercise where the more, even the it says here, even the most advanced AI systems will benefit from human judgment and oversight. You can just not the human loop. That's why it's very important because as smart as AI models seem to be, they are not smart. They are trained on a ton of data that itself has knowledge, but they just don't know how to use it sometimes to apply to your situation. That's where the human loop comes into place a lot of times. And you actually work through that by evaluating AI generated content on a domain that you have expertise. Just go to something you got your bachelor's in, your master's, maybe something you have worked on in the past, a passion project, a passion topic, and just prompt AI, get some results, and then try to discern, is this actually good? Am I just getting something bad out of this? But yeah, they recommend something that you have strong knowledge and passion. That way, you will actually be able to tell: is this right? Is this wrong? Is AI just making up citations as we go? You can also ask for multiple explanations that will help you a lot on that. And finally, apply your expert assessment, discernment. You will be able to get your expertise to actually provide the explanation by Claude. Product discernment, what is the most accurate information? Are there any actual factual errors or just misconceptions? Or maybe yes, AI is bending it to try to fit it? Or is the level appropriate? Is the level of detail appropriate when you're just learning about the topic? Maybe you're an expert, but you want to create a summary for somebody that is not an expert. That is very different in that scenario. You will need to create a new product for that. You will also need to follow Claude in its logical reasoning. Are there any gaps that you may think of? And finally, do you want to make any appropriate connections on that? And yeah, that is pretty much it on here. And the last lesson here will be, well, it says here the description and discernment loop. We won't go into that, but that's how you describe stuff. And then you discern, is this actually good output? And finally, you have to understand the ethical implications of AI collaboration, how transparency in AI works, and recognize responsibility in AI interactions and outputs. All that to say, in easy words, you want to always tell when you're using AI. That's important. You should always say, I use, when somebody asks you, it's like, well, oh, I got this report. Did you use AI for it? You should try to be transparent on that. I was assisted by AI. Maybe I just use some corrections, or I actually use AI extensively, or AI for the whole report, and I just did some small tweaks here and there. It's a lot of thing on you want to just let people know when you are just creating things with AI from scratch, because if you're not actually doing the due diligence or going through the output, it's not that different from them doing it themselves. If your boss or your manager or somebody just does it and you are just generating AI content, what's the friction for them to do it themselves? You also should be open about AI roles in your work, but again, the more that you rely on AI, the more about, well, why do I need you when I can just do it myself? And that's why you should have deployment diligence, taking ownership for AI assisted outputs that you share with others. Yes, this was generated with AI, or I actually just help with this and I refine it and all of these things. Transparency and diligence, that would be the biggest part of here in the video and in this end of the course. And you also want to make sure that AI collaborations are efficient and effective. If they are not, then you will need to review your interactions with it. Go back to the other 4Ds and say, am I not being descriptive enough with what I want from AI? Or maybe the model is just not generating what you want. Maybe the model is just not appropriate for you. Maybe you need a deep thinking model. Maybe you need a more faster model if you're trying something else. And that's where out of the expertise will build in eventually. But yeah, and this is the last exercise, the least exciting in my opinion compared to the other ones, where you create a diligence statement. You try to see what is the main statement that you want to say to acknowledge AI transparency in your work, and they will basically ask you to do this on saying, I created this to assist with that, and that all, well, they said here all is AI generated, but then they say like I co-created content and I went through review and evaluation. Again, depending on your role, depending on what you're doing, it might be different because AI can vary a lot. If you are using it to create reports, this template will suffice. If you're doing more technical stuff, where a lot of it, the actual, if you vibe code might be appropriate, but if you are doing more stuff where you are developing a lot more of it too, then the barrier there gets a lot more fuzzy than here. And then you will actually try to reflect on your AI collaboration. I will say this for sure, you should do this. What AI systems did you choose and why? Not all models are equal. What data or information did you share with AI? And are there any privacy, security, or ethical considerations in your choices? And then you got a transparency diligence. You want to see how much you can disclose there, and deployment diligence. And then you will actually create your draft on diligence and the statement for your project and have it as part of your project. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It is very interesting course for sure entry level, but it's another tool to your toolkit, and it will help you getting the 40 course. That again, just to repeat, is delegation, what to your work versus AI, description, discernment, and diligence. And then you emphasize those into the three main interactions with AI. You can either automate, augmentate, or have agency on top of it. I did not touch that much into them because they are a very popular topic right now, but you can learn more about it by yourself if you want to. But yeah, this is the main conclusion here. AI is not magic. It is a powerful system and tool, but it is not magic. You still need to guide it. And AI fluency will help you to just be a better prompter and help you more drafting all your prompts and be able to get better outputs. And yeah, you should be able to also they really encourage you to share with others, ask other people in your line of work maybe, or in your side projects, how are you using AI? How are you assisting yourself with AI? What are you doing with AI? And if you really want to go a further step in, they also recommend you to build a personal AI policy. Tell me how AI helps me with this, tell me how AI helps me with that, and I will should follow this policy on my following interactions. And yeah, there is a lot more that you can actually keep going on to learning. As you see here, they have a whole section where you can do additional activities. I will go into them, but if you're interested more onto how to learn about AI fundamentals on the AI fluency side, this is pretty good post here and pretty good content. But as always, I hope this was useful for you. If you have any feedback or just want to give me a like, I would appreciate it. And thank you. Have a good day.